Surprisingly, the most powerful M car is not what you would expect it to be. It is an SUV. Introducing the BMW XM Label Red. The XM is the second car to solely wear the M badge, and it is the most powerful M car to date. Well, the XM was until the Label Red came out. The Label Red boasts 550 kilowatts and 1,000 newton meters of torque over the standard XM, which has 480 kilowatts and 800 newton meters of torque. But the question is, does this car deserve to wear the M badge? Well, we're going to find that out in this review. My name's Salvatore Gerace. This is Exhaust Notes Australia. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell icon so you don't miss another time we make an upload like this. So, what do you get for $344,000 before on-road costs with the XM Label Red? Well, you get more power, like I previously said, but you also get all these red accents on the outside of the car, which I will run you through later on. You also get this frozen carbon black paint, and, okay, you get one of 500 to be made worldwide. And this one here in particular is the first one. In Australia, we're only getting 30 examples, which is pretty generous to be honest, but that is what you get with the XM Label Red. Let's clear the air before we go into anything else, and that is the design of the XM Label Red. It's very controversial. I personally like the look of this car. I think it looks aggressive and has a lot of presence on the road. Cameraman Avanav thinks it looks like the pig from Angry Birds, especially with this red decals around the grille. I don't think it does. I like it. I like the fact that BMW is the only car manufacturer that's actually trying to take a stab in the dark of designing every single car in their range completely different to each other. You look at Audi and Mercedes, they look exactly the same, all their high performance cars. With BMW, you know what you're driving, and I really, really do appreciate BMW's design for that. Okay, so with the front, I love this bonnet. It's the same bonnet you get on the M3 and the M4. It's got that tunnel that runs all the way down to the M logo, makes it look really aggressive. Then you come down to this bumper bar, and this bumper bar just comes in with all these aggressive lines and edges. I really do like this front end. I love the modern take on the BMW traditional headlights, right? So these are matrix LED headlights. With that grille, guys, also, it lights up during the night with LEDs. I'll show you that now if you can see it, if I turn it on. There we go. I like that. Nice little touch. People know what you're driving when they see you in their rearview mirror. And then this paint, like I've said before, it looks good, but it's a pain to keep clean. Okay, so side profile of the XM Label Red. Well, like I said, you get all these red decals to show everyone you're driving a Label Red. So that is, you got this red pinstripe that runs right around the window and then down the side of the car, okay? You have these red decal 22-inch alloy wheels with red 6-piston brake calipers at the front and a single at the rear. And then you've got the traditional BMW M-style door mirrors, the fistable door mirrors. Love these. But the side profile of the car, I really do like this car. Like, I know you guys are very on the fence with design of this, but the side is just, there's a lot going on, and I really appreciate it. I love these rear haunches at the back here. It makes it look really aggressive. And you got the sloping roof line. You got all these jagged edges down the bottom here. It actually just looks really aggressive, and it just has so much design quirkiness to it that it just makes it look really nice on the road. Okay, so let's talk about range, because this is a hybrid after all, even though it has a 4.4 litre V8 twin turbo motor. So with the battery capacity, you have a 25 kilowatt hour battery capacity. You have only AC charging at 7.4 kilowatt hours, and you have a range on electric only of 88 kilometers, which is not bad. However, they do claim that this car does 2.7 liters per 100 Ks. I don't think you're really gonna get that, especially with that monster under the hood. The rear end of the XM Label Red, my favorite piece on this car. I love the rear end of this car. I love these headlights, how they actually sit outside the body. These are LED taillights. And then if you look carefully, there are 3 strips in the lights, which I think resembles the BMW M slits, which I really do like. You also have this frameless window, which then has BMW logos etched into it in either corner, paying homage to the original M1. Nice little touch there. Then you have stacked tailpipes, which I really do like. And then you've got these red accents, again, because it's the label red. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think of the design. Personally, the only part of this car that I wish was black was that front grille. I do agree with you. But everything else about it looks really good, and it does suit this car. But I want to know, what's your opinion in the comments? The first time you step foot in the label red, you're blown away how special this car does feel in the inside. I mean, just from the sheer quality and just the design aspect of this car, it just feels very special. Everything is just so well built, and everything just feels plush and expensive. From the leather on the dash that's got all this red stitching through it, to the leather that goes down to the door seals, it's just really, really well put together. I love these merino leather M seats with the M logo that lights up on them. Really, really cool, really special. And then there's the plaque down here that says 1 of 500. Like I mentioned, this is the first one of the label reds, and it's in Australia, and I'm in it, which is incredible. Then you have this carbon inlays, which then has blue and red through it that resembles the M colors, which is just a really, really nice touch. And then you have the M steering wheel, traditional M steering wheel with these gorgeous carbon paddles behind it and your M1 and M2 setting. I really, really like that. And then you have the incredible roof. Without a glass roof, you don't have a glass roof in this, you have this 3D effect that reminds me of the movie Get Into the Greek, when he's like, touch the furry wall. In this case, touch the 3D roof. Really, really, really cool place to be in. And then you got red air vents as well, to just let everyone know, again, that you're driving a label red. So in terms of tech, you have this ginormous screen that encases a 14.9-inch infotainment screen and a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster. You also got a head-up display. You also have gesture control, Apple CarPlay, which I'll show you what it looks like, Android Auto, don't have an Android, wireless phone charging, and you can use the swivel wheel down the bottom to control everything on the menu as well. How practical is the XM? Well, you've got cup holders at the front, big enough for your coffee and also for your water bottle. You have a USB-A charging down here, guys. You also have USB-C charging in here. Plenty of storage for stuff in here as well. And then you also have humongous door bins. Like, it can fit this bottle easily. And this is pretty cool. It can fit my laptop in it. That's ridiculous. And then you can also, FYI, move that front seat from a button here, so I can adjust the passenger if I really want to troll them. I think that's pretty funny. All right, so let's cover the M modes in the XM after all. So on the steering wheel, you have M1 and M2. These are two configurable modes, which is really good because just say you like the car set up how you like it, but the missus likes it set up how she likes it. You have M2 for her or M1 for you, or vice versa. So with these modes, you go into my modes. You can either put the car in road and sport, which I like in the M. There is no, say, like efficient mode or eco mode. This car's a proper sports car or sport SUV, I have to say. And there's only two modes, it's either road or sport. Now, you can, like I said, you can configure everything in this car. So if I go into setup, and this is in M1 mode, I can change literally everything and how this car reacts, from its drivetrain, hybrid system, transmission, engine recovery, chassis, steering, like it goes on. You can change literally everything. In hybrid mode, right guys, you can actually change how the car works as well. So you can have the engine and the hybrid engine working together. You can have it in full electric mode, or you can have it where the V8 charges the electric motor. I also like on the gear stick here that you can change how aggressive the gear shifts are with 3 settings. It's just so much stuff to change how this car feels and reacts on the road. It's just ridiculous. And you'll see that when we drive it. So here it is, the 4.4 litre twin turbo V8 that allows this car to do a 0 to 100 sprint in 3.8 seconds. Did I mention it's also a plug-in hybrid? It also has 550 kilowatts and it has 1,000 Newton meters of torque, an 8-speed ZF gearbox, and all-wheel drive. Honestly, this is where the XM excels, and it's its rear seat. It is so comfortable back here. It has to be one of the most comfortable rear seats in any car I've been in, especially that there's so much adjustment where you can sit. Thanks to the leather that runs from the door into the actual seats, you can sit even like this and you're comfortable. And there's so much room, so much knee room, so much foot room, so much headroom. It's just ridiculous. And again, with this 3D pattern on the roof with the LED lightings, you actually feel like, with the ambient lightings, you actually feel like you're in a nightclub. It's insane. And I have to mention, I do love the seatbelts with the BMW M logos, colors. That is really nice touch. I do like that. In terms of practicality, well, like the front, you have humongous door bins that can fit anything in them. You have 2 cup holders right here. You also have Isofix anchor points down here for the bubba seat. You have mat pockets that are really nicely damped, and they have like covered in leather, which look cool. You have this attachment that you can put like an iPad or maybe hang your business coat on it. And then you have USB-C charging there, USB-C charging down here, pocket down here for your phone. Dual climate controls with heated seats for the outboard seats, which is really nice. And that's it. It is honestly such a pleasure to sit in the back of this car. But let's not talk about that. Let's see what this car is capable on the road, because after all, this is the most powerful M car. Okay, so what's this like to live with on a day-to-day basis in electric only mode? Well, like I said, you get 88 kilometers of range, and it's decent to get you around town and things that you need to do. It becomes a very practical family SUV when just driving around like this. You also have, I forgot to mention, just over 500 litres of boot capacity, which is really decent. Keep in mind, there is the hybrid system in the back there, so it does eat into a bit of boot space, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Now, it's in hybrid mode at the moment, so electric mode only. If I smash the throttle, the V8 will turn on, and then it'll work in tandem together. What I do find really annoying is, and this is with all hybrid cars, it's not just the XM, it's the fact that when you do smash the throttle, there is a bit of delay before the V8 decides to turn on. So they don't work as well together in terms of when that happens, but that's not this car's fault, that's across the board of all hybrid cars. What I do like in this, compared to most hybrid cars, that most hybrid cars have a really minuscule engine to power the electric motors, but in this you have a 4.4 litre V8 twin turbo, which is really, really cool. And when you get on it, it goes. One of the biggest letdowns on the XM has to be its ride. I'm sorry, but even with its adaptive dampers, you do feel every single bump. It's just a bit harsh. Look, it's not the worst. These seats really do save it because the seats are so incredibly comfortable, but you do feel every sort of bump on the road. And I think that's due to the fact because of how aggressive this car is set up, because it is an M car. Speaking of that, let's put it in M mode. So I hit M mode on the steering wheel, M1 mode, chuck it into the paddles, downshift, floor it, and there is plenty of power. Let me tell you, the way this car moves, you got to keep in mind, it weighs 2,700 kilos, or just over 2,700 kilos, and it goes. It is a bloody beast. Things to keep in mind, so it does have rear wheel steering, so that means at high speed turning, the back wheels will turn with the front wheels to add traction. It also has a beautiful LSD for added traction. And then it has a 48 volt anti-roll bar system that allows for the car to corner really flat and stop the car from feeling heavy in the corners, and just stopping it from being so top heavy, because you got to remember, it is an SUV, so it stops body roll. Another thing to note as well, guys, is that in M1 mode, you can choose between either leaving it in drive or putting it into the paddles. Now, when you switch it into the paddles, the car shifts so nicely. The gearbox does such a nice job of just changing through gears. You don't even realize that it is an automatic after all, and it's not a DSG. It's not a dual clutch system. It's just an automatic torque converter, which does an incredible job. Fortunately, we can't go too fast. There's a lot of traffic. But all in all, guys, it's just such an engineering masterpiece, this car, because you got to remember, it weighs a ridiculous amount, and it is an SUV, and it shouldn't do what it does, but it does it, and it does it so well, and for that, I cannot fault it. So, does the XM Label Red deserve to wear the M badge? Like I've said, this is only the second car to solely be an M car, meaning it's not based on any other BMW. And yes, after driving it, after having it for a week, it does deserve to wear that badge, because this car is an engineering masterpiece. The way this car drives, you honestly feel like you're not driving an SUV. The way that V8 is paired with that electric motor is incredible performance. It handles like a sports car, and for that, it honestly deserves to wear that M badge because it is an engineering masterpiece. Well done BMW. The XM Label Red is a phenomenal beast.